leave IIM Bangalore and move ahead in life, you carry your knowledge, your ambition, and you carry a credential that is going to open lots of doors for you. So, best of luck for that. But today evening, I'm going to talk about something that you know, I always talk about the delta, and I'm going to talk about being different. Different not just for getting attention, different for creating value. And in today's era, when we find that many things are only getting faster, cheaper, automated, a lot of things are changing because, as you all very well know, nowadays reports can be generated in seconds. Data you can analyze in minutes, and the best part is presentations can be made at the click. So with all of this happening, the challenge remains that efficiency is no longer rare. And therefore, efficiency is not going to take you very far away. But what is going to become rare as times go ahead, you will realize the first thing is originality. The second thing is your judgment. The third is your taste. And finally, the standards that you set for yourself. And these are the things that are going to matter. And this is getting more and more important today than it ever was. With that perspective, I think I want to share 3 perspectives on being different with all of you. So the first and foremost, the challenge is when we think about being different and particularly being innovatively different from others, we think that it is something dramatic, something that takes a lot of effort, is very complicated. But usually being different is something which is very everyday and very simple. It is basically about how deeply you understand the problem before you start offering solutions. How clearly can you simplify a complex idea? How thoughtfully you can design a customer experience? And more importantly, how responsibly can you make a decision when a lot of other people are going to be impacted by that decision? And these are aspects that clearly stand out in being different. For example, in 2007, most mobile phones had physical keyboards. BlackBerry was the dominant force. Experts believed that we need better keyboards so that people can type emails faster and the efficiencies can go up. And that is when Steve Jobs basically offered iPhone. And he just said he came up with a mobile which did not have a keyboard, did not have a stylus, just had a touch screen, a few gestures, and many people thought that this is going to fail because what Steve was doing is he was not complying with the existing standards. You had to have better keyboards, and you're going for something else. You're going for a device which, as he himself said, he was trying to simplify things. But the idea is he was not focusing on tradition. He was focusing on experience. He was questioning something that was taken as default. And that is the key. You need to ask every time that, can this be done better? Or is this just the usual way of doing it? And that is what will make the first step of being different in small ways, in everyday things. The second idea I want to talk about is leaving your signature. And when I talk about signature, your signature is not a logo. Your signature represents your reputation. It is about who you are, what you do. And again, in a time when there is so much automation that content can be developed easily, codes can be developed easily, even your strategy reports and submissions can be generated easily. Efficiency and speed is something that everyone has, and that is not going to make you apart. That is not going to create your signature. Your signature is going to come from your thinking, from your clarity, and from the values that you bring to the table. If you were to reflect, if we take the example of Taylor Swift. So Taylor Swift in her early career signed a contract where a label basically owned all her prior ratings. And at some point of time, that label was sold off and she lost the ownership of her own records. And unlike the industry, she did not accept it. So what did she do? She re-recorded every song, note by note, song by song, in a very systematic way, very detailed procedure. It took time, but she went through it. And now she had her re-recorded songs, which she owned again. So that is a powerful message, not just about the economics. It is about these are my records, these are my signature, this is my style, and I control it. That is what basically will be your signature, and your signature will basically come from the quality and the integrity that people associate with who you are. It is not just about your work. You are the one who's represented in your work. The third and final point that I want to make is about maintaining high standards. Because in today's world, when it's a fast-moving world, lots of pressures, deadlines are tight, expectations are high, honestly, shortcuts look easy. There's a lot of pressure. It is always possible to take those shortcuts. But lasting difference and a reputation comes from standards that don't change over time. Can you maintain your own internal standards? To take an example of Pixar, where the co-founder Ad Catmull built a culture of honest feedback. Basically, directors came and presented their unfinished films to their own team, and their colleagues gave them brutally honest feedback. Not only were scenes rewritten, a lot of storylines were totally removed and dropped. And this is the culture which basically made Pixar so successful. So for example, Toy Story, the first version that they presented was literally butchered at the meeting, and it was not so great. They had an acceptable story. But it became a great movie, and every movie at Pixar becomes like that, because the team did not settle down for something that is average and acceptable. Once you strive for greatness, you have your signature, and that is what leads to your success. Because high standards are a choice that you make, especially when things are moving fast, shortcuts are easily available, and there's a lot of pressure to choose them. As you leave IIM Bangalore, you will enter systems that are well organized, already working. Please learn from those systems. Please contribute to those systems. But more importantly, elevate those systems to make them better. Being different is not just about standing apart. Being different is about leaving everything better than it was and whatever you are part of. And that is where you will have your signature, you will have your reputation, and you will have your standards. So to conclude, I leave you with 3 questions. The first question is, what will I innovate in my everyday life? You need to choose where all will you innovate small things which will make a difference. The second question you should ask yourself is, what is the signature that I want to leave in everything that I do? And the third very important thing is, what are some of the standards that I refuse to lower, come what may? Your degree already proves your capability, but your difference is what is going to leave your legacy and your reputation. Congratulations to the graduating batch. Go build your careers of impact. And in a world that is increasingly getting automated, I just wish and hope that you will remain distinctly, thoughtfully human. Thank you.